Hi, my name is Shannon Simmons, and I am going to be discussing with you or showing you how I would talk to a teacher who is considered to be a veteran teacher who is having difficulties in the classroom with being a team member, as well as having students prepared and ready for the fourth grade. The teacher, I have given her the name of Mrs. Wright. And so through this dialogue, you will see me refer to her by her name of Mrs. Wright. Just so I give you some background, this would not be the first meeting that I would be having with Mrs. Wright. I do not believe that a teacher at any time should be unaware that something is going on or be called into a meeting with no idea of what would be discussed at that meeting. I don't see any benefit of catching someone off guard. It only puts them more on the defense. So this meeting would have been scheduled with Mrs. Wright. She would have been notified of all the information that I wanted her to bring, including data and test scores for pre and post tests, any MAP scores that are available, for her students, and any other information that would be used to determine student growth in her classroom. And just so that you know, this isn't something that I would be doing just with Mrs. Wright. This is something an administrator I would be doing with all teachers before the school year ended. We tend to call them our end of the year meetings. And that's what I would refer to it at our school as well. But during that meeting is when I would discuss with her some expectations that I have for the next school year. So my meeting would go something like this. Good afternoon, Mrs. Wright. I'm so glad that you are here with us today. And I know that I have spoke with you, and I know that you are bringing everything. So I would like to go over with you the data for this school year. I'd like for you to discuss with me areas of strength that you see for your students, areas of weakness that you see for your students. And when you were working with your students this year, based on the data and the information you have, what do you see as areas of concern for your students? And let's talk about, with those areas of concern, what do you think that we can do to improve overall the reading and math math scores of our third grade students? During this time, I would give an opportunity to review her data with me, and I would ask some questions based on the student scores of why do you think that students aren't making the growth that we would expect at this time last year, or that we had set at the beginning of this year. None of it would be confrontational. It would just be a mere discussion of back and forth about her data and areas of concerns that she has for her students and why she thinks that maybe they haven't made the growth that they had. Then I would say, well, as I look at the score of all of the third grade students, because I've met with the rest of your team, Mrs. Wright, I can see that there is a discrepancy in the scores of third grade students. And I'm not just saying in your classroom, I'm just saying in discrepancies all over of third grade. And I'm very concerned that it appears that some of our third grade students are being prepared for fourth grade, but yet we still have a group of third grade students that are not prepared for fourth grade. And as a principal, and I know that you as a teacher, that's very concerning about what is it that we need to be doing for these students to make sure that they are prepared for fourth grade, because we've had some parents in the past years, and you're aware of this. This is something that we've talked about before, who are also concerned that their children, when they get to fourth grade, are not prepared for the curriculum and the strenuous part of the curriculum because they didn't master some of that information in third grade. I'm not blaming anybody. I just want you to know that, just as an administrator, this has been an issue and a concern in the past. It's something that we've discussed all together as third grade, with your third grade team. It's something that I've discussed with you individually. And by no means am I pointing a finger or blaming anybody for this information. I know that all of the third grade teachers care about their students and they want them to be successful, but there's something that we're obviously missing somewheres along the line, that we're not getting all of our students prepared. And that's something I kind of want to talk to you about, because you are a veteran teacher and you do bring lots of experience. What do you think we might be missing in our curriculum, or what's happening in the third grade team that I might not be aware of, that is kind of slowing the process down for some of these students? I understand that you don't always like to plan with the other teachers, that some of them are a little more vocal than you prefer, and you don't necessarily get along with all of them. And I understand that, when we have a team, that there takes a lot of different personalities to build that team. Um, I have noticed in observation when I walk down the hallways, or I sometimes see the teachers planning, that I've noticed that you're not in there. Can you give any insight as to what's going on? Is there a personality conflict with um, the team, or is this just something that you prefer on your own? I know that sometimes it's easier to just do things on your own. I do understand that. And I do realize that in the third grade, we do have some young teachers who are still in the process of learning. But, I really, really want to encourage you guys to work together as a team. It will take some of the stress off of you. If there are areas that you feel you are really strong in, I would really encourage you to invite those other teachers into your classroom so that you can mentor and show them. If there's something that you're not sure of, it's amazing the things that these young teachers know these days that they've learned in college that we haven't even seen, or I've seen them do some projects in their classroom that I think would be awesome if we integrated it across the entire third grade. But I really want to use you as our mentor teacher and have you show the young teachers some of the strategies that you've used and found to be successful in your classroom, as well as them be able to show you some of the strategies that they're using in their classroom that they found to be successful. Because unless we can get everybody to work together as a team, it's really not fair to our third grade students to be having these discrepancies. And I don't want to finger point, but we have some classrooms where all of the students are meeting where they need to be, and they're ready for fourth grade. And we have certain classrooms where this is just not happening. And I really, really want for everybody to be able to work together. So I'd like to take a few minutes and talk about what can we do for this next school year to allow for everybody to be successful, for the third grade students to be successful, for you to feel like you want to come to work, and that you're excited about being here, and that I can get you working with those other teachers on your grade level. I mean, do you want to still teach third grade? Are you thinking that you would like to move to another grade level? Do you love third grade? It's just someone on the team that you're not comfortable with. I really want to work with you, Mrs. Wright. I really want to make things enjoyable for you and for your team and for your students, and for them to make the achievement that we know that they can do for this next school year. And any feedback that you can give me is appreciated. And I really want to work with you to devise a plan before summer, so that everybody can kind of rest and relax and not have any tension about this last school year. And I would take this time to listen to Mrs. Wright and take some notes, and try to come up with some kind of a plan. Maybe not a full plan in that meeting, but definitely another time where we can get together and to discuss. But I don't want it to be a combative situation. I don't want to pull it into an argument, or where there's any fighting or disagreement. Even if I don't agree with everything that she says at that moment, I will acknowledge it, and I will write it down. And then I can use some of that information to come up with some strategies to build that third grade and make them a team, or discuss different options that might be available for Mrs. Wright in our school. Thank you.